What is going on, family? Welcome back to the DXP Crypto family. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, I want to talk about the stock market. I want to talk about manipulation. I want to talk about how they're going to use this data today with the stock market open from Moody's over the weekend with the downgrade of the US debt from AAA to AA, which is still incredible. And they're going to use that. I want to tell you the source of Moody's downgrade. Why have they downgraded? And above all, we want to start the show positive. And of course, this is check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's very, very important. And that's what I've been sharing. Again, Nvidia earnings, very important this week for AI projects. We've already shared that in the Discord. The stock market is few percents away from all-time high. Could we actually see a bubble there? That's going to be very important as well. So chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. If you're in crypto, smash a like. And I want to start off by showing you what the market looks like. And it looks absolutely, completely and utterly nonsense because of the exchange manipulation over the weekend. Absolutely. This is a bloodbath, but we expect that, right? At some point, we're waiting for Bitcoin dominance to have a sustained drop. And if most investors understand that, they would be emotionally intelligent. It's the best advice I can give you. You know, we used to have in the UK before match of the day, if you didn't want to know the score, they'll tell you, if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Could a lot of investors be better off just buying, sorting out their portfolio, or just not even looking at it for a few months? Possibly. But there's something important. The way they use data and they flood us with negative thoughts in the news, you would honestly feel that crypto has no chance or no place to go. I want you to hear this out with me. This message is very buoyant. And that's why a lot of the day traders, even the people that talked about fundamental projects and spot holders now, they talk about futures play. And especially through YouTube, because people are making money on exchanges. So that's what they do. But forget the day trading news. Check this out.
The headlines say the economy is crashing again, but what does the actual data say? Because when I dug into the numbers myself, what I found was shocking. Now, it's nothing like the headlines would have you believe. In fact, there's one stat that would flip the entire narrative upside down. And if you're just doom scrolling headlines, you're sitting there in fear, then you're going to miss the biggest wealth window of this decade. Real quick, I'm Mark Moss. I've spent over 20 years tracking boom and bust cycles, helping investors cut through the noise to find the signal. And what I'm about to show you might completely change how you see the economy. So let's go. All right, so we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to show you, first the doomer headlines. That gets all the headlines. And the reason why is it gets all the clicks. And to be honest with you, it's hard for me getting you to come watch this video if I don't have some sort of doomer. So we'll start with the bad news, and then we'll get to the real data. Now, the big, bad doomer headline is GDP, gross domestic product, went negative. Negative. Now, this is after 11 quarters of positive growth. It's a big deal. Trump is crashing the economy. What is he doing? How dare he wreck the entire world economy? Don't you know that other nations are going to hate the United States and never do trade with us again and all of those things? Well, yes. So here is a government statistic. This is from the BEA, the Bureau of Economic Analysis. And what this is showing is GDP, gross domestic product, for the first quarter of 2025. And what they're showing is that we have now a negative quarter. After all these positive quarters, this line here is about 3%, so a little bit less than 3%, and now we have a negative print. Boo-hoo. The media headlines love to pick up on this, and it's true. Now, if we go out a little bit further, you might remember this. By the way, I'm using some charts here from my friends over at the Bitcoin Layer. You should check them out. We'll link to them in the description down below. Also, my friend Pete St. Ange, we're using some stuff from his newsletter as well. But what we can see here is that we have this negative GDP print after all these positive GDP prints. Except for this one over here. Now, you might remember this one when Biden was president, and everyone starts talking about the U.S. is in a recession, and then Biden says, the Biden administration says, well, that's not a technical recession. You might remember that. Anyway, so now we have a negative GDP print. However, that's the headline. What we want to do is we want to peel back the data, what's in the GDP, so we can understand what's really going on.
Well, just to kind of continue with that, the real data is because of the tariffs, the imports went up, but we're talking about gross domestic product. Gross domestic, meaning for the nation, made in the nation, by the nation, product. This is why looking beyond the obvious headline and then building that into your investment thesis is just horribly wrong. I believe the cycle will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest cycle we've ever seen so far. And it's showing, the total 3 shows that. The total crypto market cap shows that. And this is something that we shared in the Discord yesterday. And I talked about how, for the VIP community, this is a triple bottoming of the total crypto market cap. You can see number 1 over here, number 2, and number 3. Now, if we come back and retest, right? If we come back and retest this line here one more time, you can see where the direction is. The direction here it's very clear. We bounced hard. Each time we hit this bottom, we bounce to the right. You can see 1. We've done that once over here, off to the bottom, bounce to the top. We've done that again, bounce to the top. And of course, this time round, we are about to do it again. It's very clear. The data is indisputable. It's there in front of you. I'm not making this up, So how about if we do something like this? We are there now. We come back down and we start to go for a new all-time high. And that's what's going to happen because it's done it once, twice, 3 times before. So why do you think crypto is not going to grow? You could see here, and you could clearly see it, you could clearly see it over here too, right? And of course, we are now waiting for that third wave to print. So we've established already that this, every time it bottoms here on the bottom of the trend line, 3 taps, triple bottom, as they call it. Why can't you chill out? Okay, because you are looking at day-to-day data, and that is the problem. The day-to-day data doesn't allow you to accumulate good alts because they're doing bad in a particular moment, and it doesn't give you a break because you become a constant, never-ending stress ball, okay? Another data here that would make you very, very happy is the Ethereum dominance chart, okay? This got up to as high as, 9.7. We nearly touched that 10%, but you can actually see on the daily that we're slightly pulling back on this 20 EMA support line here, or even the 50 here, sorry. So clearly you could see that, but that's healthy. That's okay. We tap it again, and we continue to keep it moving. That's also positive. Now, over the weekend, another thing that was positive, if I go hit you with the facts, right? There was a period here of several hours where Bitcoin dominance, all right? So let's change this to the hourly. And I really want to show the community what can happen between Bitcoin's price and Bitcoin's dominance. So if you look at this, right, on Saturday, Bitcoin dominance started to tumble on Saturday midnight, right? As it was doing this and it was falling, in this particular window, the Bitcoin price was going absolutely parabolic, right? Between Saturday and Sunday, all right? Between midnight on Saturday and 5 p.m. on Sunday, the price of Bitcoin was running. But guess what? The Bitcoin dominance was dropping. Now, all you need is a sustained period of Bitcoin dominance drop. And you could see the resurgence of the dominance over here. We were in an ascending triangle. Okay, we put this onto the weekly so you can actually see it much more clearer. Okay, we were in an ascending channel And then, of course, all of a sudden we tumbled. You could see that. And then it started to print positive again. But that's on the weekly. Now let's change that data to the daily. And then it becomes even more obvious why you don't need to worry about your altcoins when Bitcoin dominance is printing 5 consecutive daily green candles. It's an opportunity to buy alts. 64%, and it's resurging as we speak, which means the price of the cryptos will continue to be undervalued. Okay, as Bitcoin runs out of steam, and again, has it run out of steam? Truly, possibly not. But we may tap this trend line one more time. Okay, we may come back and get rejected from that. I think that's the maximum we will go. However, every smart investor has a secondary plan. So the worst comes to worst, my people come first. That is 72.78% to the top of that channel, and that will be Mystical's danger. So again, like Ice Cube said, wreck yourself, check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? Oh man, my peoples. So let's continue anyway. So over the weekend, there was a bunch of crazy stuff. Of course, Benjamin Cowen's thesis is that Bitcoin has remained flat in the summers.
All-time high, right? Or not an all-time high, a new cycle high. I'm sort of thinking about right now as it relates to Bitcoin and its ability to put in new all-time highs. Would be, do we get a repeat of the last couple of years or not? Now, the last couple of years, we had a summer lull, right? Where the market just didn't really do that much in the summer. Maybe in 2023, we did see an all-time high, right? Or not an all-time high, a new cycle high, but only barely, right? It wasn't really that much to write home about. And if you look at some other years.
So that was in May. And 2023, pre-halving year, 2024, halving year, double top before we did a new double top before we ultimately crashed and stayed sideways for months and months and months. But what could be different this year? Well, for me, I think the crypto's relationship to the M2 money supply is now a well-trodden path, right? Everybody and their dog is talking about it. So, in my opinion, I think what will happen is we will get a pump at some point and a feeling of an alt season, just like we did in 2021, where some of the market really runs. At that point, we have to put the ejectors on in the summer. Maybe sell in August and come back in October or September. It's very difficult to say now. Even, experts are confused. But what you don't want to do is, consume headlines of the markets are dropping. Oh no, here we go. And then obviously euphoric, new all-time high. You want to try and avoid that. You want to try and avoid that at all costs, right? You really want to avoid that because that's exactly what gets people wrecked. And over the weekend, if you looked at the liquidation heat maps, it was very clear. Liquidity to the upside, you've got massive amount of liquidity at 106. And then you've obviously got massive amount of liquidities to the south. Both directions are available to these market manipulators. So why you want to get involved with it? You got exchange volume slightly dipping, of course, for, Binance has still got the lion's share of these, but they're all manipulators. That's why I think Bitcoin will have a new all-time high, in my opinion, sooner rather than later. Next week is a monumental Bitcoin conference in Vegas, 27th to the 29th. And I think these guys will rig it to the point where the usual suspects are going to be there. Michael Saylor, the Trumps, Vance. You got a lot of people there, right? So could they obviously, could they be doing something there to obviously run us into a new all-time high for that conference? It makes perfect sense. Now, if you obviously take into account the amount of critical data that will be out this week, for me, probably the most important one relevant to crypto will be the earnings report from Nvidia. right? And of course, again, I've shared this information with the VIP community. Join our VIP. You get all of this stuff early for just $9. Nowhere else in crypto YouTube will you get a small YouTuber covering the shit that I cover to help my community check themselves before they wreck themselves. Okay, so anyway, guys, is this a buying opportunity? Buying the dip? Absolutely. Bitcoin dominance is going up. This is the only thing we need to watch over the next 6 months, and this will tell you what the entire story is going to be. Try to avoid consuming a lot of the day trading nonsense that has proliferated through crypto, because it doesn't really concern what we got to do, in my opinion. So with that said, let's have a look at where certain projects are. And let me start off with CAS. CAS is around 11 cents, guys. Just under 11 cents. It's now 2.7 billion in terms of market cap. A healthy pullback, very good buying price, because we know historically 10 cents is a very strong support resistance level. SUI, okay, do not wait for your 20x here, guys. All right, 20x will be got into a lot sooner than you think. This was a golden buying opportunity that I presented to the community here. Guys, buy this dip. SUI is cheap. But yeah, you know, as always, you know, people don't really want to buy multi-billion-dollar projects, but you need to look at SUI with the same lens as a Solana. The technology, instant finality is incredible. So we got down to 192, and people are just, you know, that's insane. 192 for SUI. That was just mental. Probably a little bit lower. Is this a buying opportunity right now? Well, it depends what you believe. If you think SUI is going to go to $200 billion market cap, then it is cheap, right? If you think SUI is going to go to 50 billion to about 90 billion, which is a fair assessment, it may be a little bit expensive. It really depends on what you think is value for money. Cocoro. Cocoro is a meme coin that is just beginning its early life, holding at $15 million market cap. Amazing community. And again, it is way too early to say anything at the moment, but with the support of SHIP and the SHIP community, a Discord that's like got 9,000 people in it, it's probably going to get picked up. HTX posted about it, the exchange. And that's a decent one to look at. Now, some of you obviously keep asking me for things like alephium. Of course, Alph is, again, we had this debate yesterday, you know, $43 million for a layer one that is at 39 cents, right? So, again, Alph is building. Alph is still there. The chart is not the greatest, but, you know, market's dipping and it is showing a green. You know, it's showing some kind of a green promise here, you know. Wouldn't hold my breath, but when the market goes good, don't be surprised to see Alph recover to over $1 or $2 very quickly. And then from there, as liquidity finds smaller projects, who knows, right? Again, Lofi the Yeti. Lofi the Yeti has been absolutely insane. $63 million market cap, slight cool off. And of course, it's a very, very good meme coin on the SUI blockchain. I could update you on the other projects, but if we look at Sol and all of the projects on Sol right now is at 161. Now with the Sol ETF, don't be surprised to see Sol move pretty fast once the market gets going into the next leg. I think Solana will absolutely cook on the basis of the ETF. And again, this is the lens you need to see SUI at. Sol is at 84 bill. And of course, SUI is only $12 billion market cap. So again, not asking anyone in my community to jump on this right now. But again, you've got to keep your eyes on the Solana SUI ecosystem, which will offer you far more riches than you'll ever know. Bitensa Tau, a beautiful little pullback below the price of $400. Now, the thing with Tau is Tau it does a lot of these things with a very much a smaller trading volume than the likes of the others which are around that $3 billion market cap. So it just shows you that Bitensa could grow even more and it is an AI Bitcoin. And if you believe data in the future is going to be the way for humanity to communicate, the way for business to be done, decentralized AI is the way. And I would like to own more than what I have right now on this AI Bitcoin or Bitcoin AI. This is the digital, this is the AI gold standard moving forward. Check it out. Again, generational coin. And at the moment, probably what I call the ecosystem still very, very small. Very, very small, very tiny. Okay, so guys, let me know what you're buying, what you're holding, what you're selling. Am I correct in my thesis that the market has been completely influxed by day traders who talk absolute garbage and help more people? Or, you know, you end up with other YouTubers who keep telling you to buy shit and ass and legs and tits and farts and, or not farts, fart coins are gold standard. But do you get my point? Do not waste your money. You're in crypto. Like I said, not everybody has to get the blue chips, but there are plenty of coins that don't need to be extremely degen for you to make life-changing money. I'm taking a bet on Cocoro because I understand the narrative. Doge, Nero, and now Cocoro. Like, it's very simple, right? Build a community behind it and boom. But anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. It is very important to start off your Monday investing. Give me a like, follow the channel. A lot of you who watch these videos don't follow the channel. And hopefully we can make good money together. But stay emotionless and check yourself before you wreck yourself.